met nobody like you.
Turning Red. You know, this was kind of a movie that I almost didn't want to kind of actually see, like some of the previous kind of Disney movies that they've been making, but I thought they were going to push this kind of agenda in Frozen 2, and I almost hated the movie, but somewhat, it made me kind of appreciate it a bit, especially when they made Elsa still say single. But when hearing Turning Red and hearing Luca, I felt like these were going to be predictable kind of movies, but somewhat, they kind of were, but somehow they kind of worked to it. And what I like about some of them is they're a coming-of-age kind of story that Pixar is actually doing.
You're right about that. I think it's nice that Pixar still doing this kind of stuff, now going to coming of age, like they did with The Good Dinosaur, but I'm not going to get to that. I find it funny that they've done a coming of age story for each. It's like the boy for Luca and the girl for Mei-Lin. But I'm not saying that it's not for a specific gender, it's like for the characters in general, like separately. But one turns into a sea monster and one turns into a giant red panda.
Yeah, this is actually a good thing that Disney's actually doing, but somewhat, this almost didn't feel like too much like a Pixar movie. What I mean is that it doesn't have any talking toys, cars, bugs, or some monsters going into the human reality world, or seeing a retired old man actually attach his house to a bunch of million balloons. This is something a little different that Pixar actually did. I think somehow they're actually stepping up to the game of actually doing something that he used to do traditionally, so they're just doing something really very new. Especially when this is actually coming from a female who actually used to direct a short called Bow, which I think was either in The Incredibles 2, or I'm not sure which one it was from.
It was shown in front of The Incredibles 2. And the director said that Turning Red is different from any other Pixar film because it's based from her life, and it's kind of based on what she was going through.
Yes.
This, however, is kind of exaggerated because I'm sure that she did not suddenly change into a red panda whenever she gets excited.
No, because I think so much of the reality of what she's trying to tell so much, it's kind of like the basics of some teenage girls going through womanhood, like, you know, like everybody else does go when they go through, you know, puberty. And I'll admit, this was a really great way how to actually just tell it instead of almost actually showing it. And there's a lot of jokes I actually got in this one that kind of did make me laugh and kind of make me feel annoyed about it.
And I have to say, the interesting character, Mei-Lin, she really shows some great character development. Like, everybody knows her as the perfect little Mei-Mei, who always follows her mom's rules and tries to be the best she can be. But suddenly, when she comes out of her red panda shell, sort of, she actually becomes true to who she wants to be. She's being herself. She's letting herself loose. When she's with her friends, she's able to just relax and be Mei-Lin, who she wants to be.
That's exactly what's something I actually like seeing in this film. Especially how the director, how the way she actually said this so much. And I noticed that what they did in the film right there, especially at one point about what she did when she was kind of fantasizing about that guy at the actual superstore, or actually some kind of gas station. And that's quite reasonable because everybody who actually hits 13, and don't even say that you actually never did this before in your whole life. Anybody who was 13 can start feeling their body change, just like hormones can actually flood so much your body and up to your brain cells that can actually make you start fantasizing about, you know, sexy things about, like, I didn't even know that Disney could actually get away with having a character say the word sexy, which I wouldn't be surprised if that's how everybody started off when they were hitting puberty, when they started getting into boys or girls. But I'll tell you one thing though, that's what kind of started that one weird website of Rule 34. And to be honest, that's not exactly how I fantasize girls. You know what I did? I watched MTV, but it did lead up to actually one of my favorite parts in the movie.
You sicko! What were you thinking? Why would you draw those things? Those horrible, awful, sexy things! It's fine. You'll move to another city, change your identity. Mommy, I'm so sorry. You are her pride and joy, so act like it!
And don't even say that none of you guys actually did this too, because everybody had to go through this kind of same stage too. When you come to a certain age of 13, you have a wild beast a part of you.
It's interesting how Mei-Lin goes through all these sort of things. we see her struggle with this sort of thing, and yet she's still funny. That's one of the secret ingredients what I love with Pixar. They make the main characters funny just as much as their side characters. Like Woody, for example, they make Sully funny, and Marlin sort of funny, which is ironic because he's a clownfish. And even Bob has his own funny moments.
Oh, hell yeah, he does. You know, I would say I like Turning Red, but somehow I think I kind of like how the way Pixar did Luca, because honestly, no offense of being a sexist right there, but somehow I kind of like how it does a coming-to-age story on a boy. And I think Disney actually did something like this before for The Emperor's New Groove.
Let's get to one of the best parts. The story is really interesting, but I say we get to the best parts, which are the characters. We've already talked about Meng Li, but let's talk about who's around Meng Li. Like her mother, for example. I know she means well. She wants everything to be perfect. She wants Meng Li to live the perfect life. And you can see that, yeah, we're going with this, where you can see a bit of Eleanor in her.
Oh my gosh, I started picking up a few vibes about this movie, especially with the mom's performance by Sandra Oh. She actually did really well with this character. I mean, when was the last time we ever even heard her in a Disney movie? Since never, at least. And without going too much spoilers, once you actually get to the ending part of the movie, you'll actually understand about why she wanted Mei Li to actually be the perfect daughter. And you know, personally, somehow, when she knew when something was going to happen to Mei, when she turned into a giant red panda, I knew for a fact that she had to be a red panda herself. Yeah. But like I said, watch the ending, you'll actually understand why she was trying to make Mei Li perfect.
And even her dad has some good memorable moments too, trying to help out.
Oh my gosh, he was kind of funny to me. Especially about in the very beginning, when Mei actually turned into a red panda and he actually snagged one of the sweets.
Oh, charming. And now let's get, I think, who are the best characters aside from Meng Li, her friends.
Oh my gosh, someone supported from these friends. It's better to just not have one, but actual 3 friends in your life. You got Miriam, you got Priya, and you have Abby, who is the best character of them all. Every time when I see her, she kind of reminds me a bit of either Mabel or Charlotte LaBeouf from The Princess and the Frog. And she cracked me up with some of the humorous jokes and even the face gestures that she made in this movie. Holy shit, I hope I find a girlfriend who's just like her.
I have to say it, Abby is one of my favorite Pixar characters now. She's like a mix of Batgirl from the DC Superhero Girls, which is beautifully voiced by Tara Strong, Mabel, and a bit of Webby, where they are hyper energetic and just say whatever is on their minds without no regards. I swear, she has the funniest lines in this movie and the best facial expressions.
Speaking of facial, there's something I actually notice about so much of these characters. Whenever they do a facial gesture, do you ever notice that somehow the eyes actually change smaller a bit when they actually get scared or get frightened by something or get too excited? Yeah. Just how big Abby's eyes got at one point.
He's a red panda! Sick. You're so fluffy! You're so fluffy!
Jesus Christ, kid.
Oh my gosh, that part was so funny right there. I just cracked up laughing. I was like, Jesus Priest, kid. What did your mom put you on when you were a baby?
And Priya, with her deadpan delivery, reminds me of Nola. Because it's not like she's being mean-spirited, but she can say whatever is on her mind with that deadpan delivery is just perfect.
And you ever notice throughout the entire movie that she keeps that same kind of face gesture throughout the entire movie?
Yeah.
Even when she gets so excited.
I have to say, I think Miriam is the closest to being Meng Li's best friend because she's the most supportive. She's the one that would go out for her and do whatever she can to make her feel happy. And does everything she can to be by Meng Li's side. She is just that good a friend. It's like that. Those two are the best of friends out of the entire group.
That's what I actually thought as well too, because I think she had so much line delivery in this movie. It's like she got the more support. Close to Abby, of course.
I think what makes the friendship strong between these 4 are the voice actors. They didn't ham it up like any other movie would do. They do have their goofy moments, but it shows that these voice actors are really wanting us to believe that these 4 are friends and they love being with each other.
You know, speaking of these 3 friends, every time when I kind of think of them, I always think of the gargoyles from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. These guys are less annoying right there, and they're actually more supportive and not being judgmental about May's appearance when they first saw her as a red panda. But one part in the movie actually kind of gave me a bit of goosebumps, and that was somewhere at the party when May actually attacked Tyler. Oh my gosh. Because after when a few things were given to her grandmother and her relatives, were saying that the more that she actually becomes the panda, the more stronger she's actually going to be becoming. And I think I actually did see a few hints that were going to be coming. Especially when she was sneaking out to the party, especially when I saw her eyes were actually glowing red. I was like, oh my gosh, no, don't do it. That really had me. So I gotta pretty much say that Turning Red, it's actually a good coming-of-age story that actually Pixar did something out of their traditional Pixar movies that what they are used to doing. And is it just me, or are they not showing any more Pixar shorts in front of these movies anymore?
I don't know. It would have been great if this was coming to theaters, but the Disney company won't let them.
Oh, that was pity.
Yeah, let's just hope they won't screw over Pixar's next movie.
Oh my gosh. Somehow I don't want to see that movie, but somehow it's kind of tempting me, just like how the way Toy Story 4 did. Oh my gosh.
I know, but you can see that Pixar... It's nice to see that Pixar is getting out of their sequel-itis era and going into more original movies, like they did with Onward, Soul, and recently mentioned Luca.
Yeah, some of those kind of movies that some people say that Pixar was actually doing back then don't look pretty much interesting and kind of look dull for it. But you have to admit, some of these are actually really good once you actually watch it.
Yeah.
Well, except for the fact that how they made a fourth Toy Story, and I thought the Muppets were freaking joking about that.
Gonzo knew the whole time.
It's like they predicted, like they knew there was going to be a fucking fourth Toy Story movie.
You mean like how The Simpsons predicted that Disney was going to buy Fox?
Oh, don't even get me started with that one. I still get why they haven't canceled that show yet.
Oh, well, that's all I got to say about Turning Red. Another great Pixar success.
Yep. Let me just say right now, if you're actually an underage boy and you're actually an actual male, you won't get so much of the actual jokes or references in this movie. But if you're female, but if you're older than that, you'll actually understand so much of it. Because let me tell you, adults will actually get this, but some underage kids, like under the age of 11 or 10, won't actually get some of this stuff that actually goes through, you know, like we talked about, like how the movie was going through puberty. So if you're actually in for something that's really great and so much amazing, if you actually like the actual show or bow, you'll actually be all right with this movie.
So until next time.
Awooga!
Aw.